Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now I want to disclaim that this video will contain spoilers from Scream 5, so if you do not want to hear any spoilers for Scream 5, you have been warned. Okay, in this video, I'm going to discuss the fantastic news that I've been anticipating would be arriving sometime this month, literally any day now, and that day is finally here. Spyglass and Paramount have announced that Scream 6 is officially greenlit and Radio Silence is back. I have lots more to say about this coming up, including my prediction of when it will be released. Let's go. So The Hollywood Reporter just published an article which announced that Scream 6 has officially received the green light to be made. Now the headline reads, Scream sequel a go from Spyglass and Paramount. The fifth installment, released last month, has earned more than $100 million globally. Now, the article begins with the following. Paramount and Spyglass are headed back to Woodsboro. A sixth installment of the Scream franchise has been greenlit with the creative team from the successful 2022 film back in action. Once again, Radio Silence's Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette will direct with James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick, not Gary Busick, very different person, Guy Busick returning to pen the script. Production is slated to begin this summer. We are tremendously grateful to the fans around the world who enthusiastically received our film. We can't wait for audiences to see what Radio Silence, writers Jamie and Guy, and Project X have in store for our Woodsboro family, Spyglass and Paramount said in a joint statement. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for a minute and just unpack this first portion of the article. First of all, I want to say I'm very pleased to see that Radio Silence will be back to continue this new trilogy. I felt that as a directing team, they shouldered the massive load of pressure that was on their shoulders to make the very first Scream film after Wes Craven has passed away. I mean, that is an enormous amount of pressure to come together and make a new Scream film that balances the legacy of Wes and the history of the franchise with Kevin and Wes, but also to introduce new characters with a new final girl lead character type, and maybe even arguably two, actually, with Tara and Sam. But either way, to bring that into the picture and then also bring back the OG3 and update their life stories all at the same time while trying to make a cohesive story. And by the way, a Scream film while we're at it. All of that. I mean, that's all things considered. That is just an enormous amount of pressure. It's a very difficult task. And I feel personally that Radio Silence earned another opportunity to come back and make Scream 6. I think they will continue to come into their own. And I've seen enough personally for me to feel that they are the right guys. I think the potential is there. And I really do believe that now they're moving into 6 and some of that initial pressure is gone. You know, they got that first one out of the way. It's been done. And it was for Wes. It was dedicated to Wes. It was a very big deal. So that's been done now. And so, okay, now they can breathe easier. They can exhale a little bit and say, okay, so we had that amazing film. We honored Wes like we wanted to as his fans. Now we're going to really focus on making a Radio Silence Scream film more than, trying to juggle the expectations that we had going into it from the previous 4 films. Now, having said that, the first 4 films were so amazing because they were Wes Craven films. So I hope that Radio Silence, as being such big fans of them, that they'll also be wise enough to know that you don't want to stray too far from what Wes Craven did to make this such a successful franchise that we're still talking about it 25 years later and getting new movies. So I think they're pretty smart. Yeah, they're still pretty new also. I mean, like I said, they have a lot to learn, but I do believe that they satisfy what I felt was a good job with a lot of pressure, a lot of demands, and a very, very difficult situation to come into. So I'm all for them getting a second chance. I want to see now. 6 to me is the movie that's going to define radio silence. 6 is the one that's going to see. We're going to really kind of measure them on the scales of how well they're performing, and as director, are they the right people to carry this through to 7 or not? I think they will be. I'm being optimistic because I did like a lot of what I saw. Didn't love everything I saw, as you guys know, but I did like a lot of it. So all things considered, I'm glad. Now, the next thing I want to do is talk about the screenwriters, Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt, for a minute. So further along on the article, we read, screenwriters Vanderbilt and Busick said in a statement announcing their return, it, quote, "Is this real life? Getting to collaborate once again with our friends on the next installment of the Scream story is more than we could have hoped for. We are overwhelmed that we get to continue to play in the sandbox that Kevin and Wes created. It is, as Ghostface would say, an honor. Added Project X Entertainment partners, we have become a big family and are eager to continue telling stories in the wonderful Scream universe." So Guy and James will return, as we just read here, as the writing duo for Scream 6 and as they were for Scream 5. And here's where I get into a little bit of mixed feelings. Now, I don't misunderstand me. Like, I didn't hate all of the writing in this movie, but there are several times in this film that I felt the writing was a little bit lacking in some scenes. And, over the last couple of weeks now, 3 weeks, I guess, I've been thinking about this movie a lot. I've seen it twice, and a lot of the criticisms I have, or maybe not even criticism, they're just my shortcomings I feel in the movie. They usually revolve around either a character, how they're written, as a personality, or in some of the dialogue. And it started to dawn on me like a couple of days ago that maybe I'm not as big a fan of the writers as I thought I was initially, because a lot of my issues come around the characters and how they were written. And I wish they'd have been written a little bit differently. So, I have mixed feelings. Again, I didn't hate it all. I thought the writing for Roger L. Jackson's lines, all of the Ghostface lines, were absolutely top shelf. The dialogue for Ghostface was phenomenal. One of my favorites of the franchise. And so that was a highlight. That was a high moment for James and Guy. They nailed Ghostface on his lines perfectly. And there were some good lines too. There were some great lines that made you laugh here and there. So again, it's not all bad. I'm not criticizing all of the writing. I'm just saying that I guess I'm saying is I miss the influence of Kevin Williamson. I know Kevin Williamson was a consultant, and they actually did talk to him about the script, but I miss him being more actively involved. I miss him being a writer, actually in the writer's chair, penning out his thoughts. So I am happy they're coming back to an extent, because I want continuity there from the first story. And I think that if you bring in a completely new writing team, you're really kind of messing over that movie, because you want to keep it flowing. So I'm fine with that. But here's what I propose. I would like to see Kevin Williamson be added as a third writer on the film, not just as an executive producer like he was in 5, but I would like to see him actually put into a writer's chair and let it be a writing trio. Let Kevin have an actual part in penning the lines for this movie. That's what I would like to see. I think if we just had some more of Kevin Williamson's experience in writing scripts and dialogue and character development, I think it might help Scream 6 in that regard. And speaking of the producers, the article does go on to say, Project X's Vanderbilt, Paul Neinstein, and William Sherrick will produce. Kevin Williamson, who I was just talking about, who created the franchise 25 years ago with his genre-skewering script, which again, we need more of that. I want more of that. will executive produce. So he's back on board as executive producer again. So we do have Kevin Williamson having some input, which is a good thing. I just hope I wish it would be more. That's all. And also Chad from Radio Silence here, which is will produce, and Spy Glasses, Gary Barber, and Peter. I'm not going to butcher that last name. You see it there. I don't want to ruin that last name. So he's going to be an executive producer. And then finally it says, working with such a wonderful and talented family of creators and in the lineage Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson so expertly built has been the thrill of a lifetime. And we're so excited to bring the next chapter in the Scream saga to life, Radio Silence said in a statement. And so, yeah, again, Radio Silence, I'm excited for them. And I mean, I'm excited, period. I think it's great. But I just would like to see Kevin Williamson more involved in the script. So that's all I'll say about that for now. Just recapturing that original, feeling and dialogue of that character growth that we're used to seeing. So the final portion I want to mention for this video covers what Chad from Radio Silence had to say about the next installment of Scream. And it says here in the article, next, in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter last month, executive producer Chad Villella, pondered what it might take to make a sixth Scream. Said Villella, in order to make it special, you need to subvert things that have been established as the new rules and play outside of those parameters. Let's break the rules now that we just created and just go for it. I think you have to really go there. So, very interesting. I think that's somewhat ambiguous, obviously, as well, but it is an interesting take. So, he's basically saying whatever we did, let's blow it up and just blow our minds, come back with something completely different and completely unexpected. And I'm all for that. Let's do that. Absolutely. Keep us on our toes. I want to be shocked in 6. I want twists and turns that we don't see coming. I have high expectations for 6, and I'm going to be talking a lot more about 6 in the coming months. Trust me, a lot more theory videos. We're going to get real granular. We're going to dig into it deep. But for this video, I just wanted to share the great news with all of you. And I'm excited for this news. I'm pumped that we have another Scream coming. And I have to say, my expected release date, because they are starting to film, as we read earlier, this summer of 2022, filming begins. And I am predicting right now, I haven't read this anywhere, but I'm predicting right now that the film will be released in the fall of 2023, probably in October, maybe it could be December, but I'm hoping for around a Halloween, October month release. And so I believe we will have another Scream film, Scream 6, in literally just a year and like 9 months. We're not even 2 years away from having our next Scream. I think it's going to happen next year. All right, everyone. I want to know what you think about this amazing news that we're getting Scream 6. I think I already know, but tell me in the comments below. I want to hear your opinions, your thoughts, ideas about the creative team coming back. Are you happy that Radio Silence is back? Are you happy that Vanderbilt and Busick are back in the writing and in the writer's chairs? And what do you want to see from the movie? What are your expectations? Just lay it all out. Let's go. I want to hear all about it in the comments section below so we can start discussing it together. Well, that's going to be it for this update, guys, but I'll be back soon with more Scream 6 and other horror movie content. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, this is Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thank you for watching.